its sovereignty, is determined to protect the civilian population, and is especially determined to protect their nuclear facilities, because any attempt, any act to destroy or hit these facilities could have devastating consequences for the Iranian society and also for the region in general. The whole world is witnessing at this moment how this crisis is unfolding, and the whole world is condemning the actions that has been perpetrated by the Zionist regime under the commands of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and under the complicity and the protective umbrella of Washington, of US President Donald Trump, who knew in advance that these attacks, these surprise attacks, to take place, and he did nothing to avoid it, in spite of the consequences that it would have emotionally, psychologically, and physically for the civil society of Iran, a country that has been hard hit by coercive measures imposed by the United States for several years and decades, just because the sole purpose of halting the country's development of the nuclear program, that also had civil intentions with the purpose of improving the life of the civilian population in the country. Also, this is taking place amid an ongoing negotiation dialogue that also was set to have a sixth encounter this Sunday in Oman, a sixth round of nuclear talks that were expected this Sunday in Muscat, Oman. Tag is hampering, is diminishing that possibility. So this is an action that has been nefarious and has had deadly consequences for both societies, for both of the countries. Iran has promised to retaliate for as long as it keeps its promise to keep attacking the country and to keep providing informations on the situation. And also, this is all that is taking place at this moment. We just saw the latest retaliatory action that was performed by the Iranian government towards Tel Aviv, the capital of Israel, at a crucial moment for both countries, in which they have been entangled in a back and forth missile launching, following, of course, the terrorist action of the Zionist regime, in a context in which also the entire community, international community, is witnessing everything that is happening. There was also a United Nations Security Council's meeting earlier today, in which the diplomatic representative of both countries spoke and took the floor and spoke to the quorum to assess what is going on Tel Aviv, on Tehran. And this is what is happening. It is a crucial moment for the region, a crucial moment in which also the Palestinian population is suffering and has been subjugated to the siege, the constant siege of Israel that hasn't stopped its attacks on the civilian population and the population of Palestine in the Gaza Strip, in spite of all these military actions that is performing on Iran. This is a nonsense, according to the international community. Also, there have been many reactions worldwide. We've seen the reaction from the president of Bolivia, Luis Arce, also from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Cuba, from the ALBA TCP member countries. The whole world, Russia, for example, as well, has offered their or show their intentions to mediate in the conflict and also provide for both leaders of Israel and Iran a safe space to dialogue and to reach agreements towards this moment for both countries, in which an escalation, a further escalation that according to forecast could be extended to several days, could have catastrophic consequences for both societies. As we are seeing at this moment, Israel attacked Iran, but Iran retaliated against Israel as well. So this means that could be potential civilian casualties in both sides. So the most important matter now is, according to the international community, to halt all the actions, all military actions against both nations, and also to reach solutions through peaceful means, and also to stay on the path of peace, on the path of diplomacy. And this is what has been going on. There have been attacks non-stop, back and forth as well. Let's recall that 78 people, according to Iran's United Nations ambassador, said 78 people were killed, 320 were wounded in Israeli strikes, as Tehran also retaliates in Tel Aviv. According to Iran's United Nations ambassador, as I mentioned, there were 78 people that has been hit by Israel's first missiles launched against the country earlier on Friday. The death toll comes after also Israel's attacks across Iran, which hit dozens of targets in and around Tehran, including nuclear facilities and also official headquarters. Among those killed by Israeli strikes include scientists and commanders. As reported by news medias, Iranians described chaotic scenes where they saw windows shaking and people screaming as well. There were traffic jams. Clueless crowds are still trying to make sense of what's happening. Also, smoke is still billowing from residential streets, and there's debris around homes as well. The sky is red, and we fear there will be more attacks. This is the feeling among the civilian population in Iran and Israel as well. Also, according to Israel's authorities, the country braces for new waves of missiles from Iran, which has links to the country's, according to Iran's Fars news agency. Iran has launched also a new wave of missiles at Israel, as we informed a few minutes. That seems to match a report from a Times of Israel military correspondent Emmanuel Fabien, who also posted on X a few minutes ago. Sirens are now sounding across Israel after Iran launched a fresh barrage of ballistic missiles. Those we are seeing at this moment in the footage on your screens. According to Fabien, the Israeli military said it had detected a new barrage of ballistic missiles launched from Iran at Israel. Another highlight of today, there is also the complicity of the United States in this matter, and there are proofs. Trump has assured during an interview earlier today that he knew that this attack was going to take place. Also, the U.S. Navy positioned destroyers equipped with ballistic and cruise missiles and moved them towards the eastern Mediterranean, according to statements from the Pentagon, and also cited by local news medias. This deployment reaffirms President Donald Trump's support for Israel and also bolsters U.S. military assets in the area. In his initial reaction to the attacks, Trump on Friday urged Tehran to reach a nuclear deal, warning that after Israel's strike, the situation can only get worse. 2 months ago, I gave Iran a 60-day ultimatum to make a deal, he said. They should have done it. So though that was a warning. Today, it is day 61, he said. I told them what to do, but they couldn't. Now, maybe they'll get a second chance, Trump wrote in a follow-up post on his Truth Social platform earlier today. Also, in a CNN interview on Friday, Donald Trump reiterated that the United States, of course, supports Israel, calling the Zionist strikes against Iran a very successful operation. The escalation between Iran and Israel comes as nuclear negotiations between Washington and Tehran remain stalled. The US has demanded an end to all uranium enrichment, even for civilian purposes. Let's recall that Iran proposes a nuclear program for civilian purposes, something that the US president suggested was a possibility initially, but then later changed his mind and said there would not be that opportunity and there could be no path to a nuclear weapon. So this is a matter of powers, of a matter of interest, of deep interest that lay on the intentions to halt Iran's nuclear program to fulfill. Also, let's recall that a sixth round of nuclear talks was expected this Sunday in Muscat, Oman. However, the latest Israeli strikes have diminished that possibility. So this is a clear violation